Hello and welcome to News Now, the morning edition of the New York City News Service. I'm Ray DePaul.
And I'm Sasha Cohen. Flooding during rainstorms has become a major challenge for New Yorkers. For residents of Sunnyside, Queens, water in their basement has become chronic. Elise Mouille has more.
Here in low-lying Sunnyside, it often floods when it rains. During a rainstorm on September 29th, more people called in flood complaints per capita from Community Board 2, which includes Sunnyside, than any other part of Queens. Martine Arts-Nidham, who's lived in Sunnyside for 33 years, said her basement first flooded during Hurricane Ida. Since then, floods have become much more common.
Extremes in weather are definitely happening. I'm a very firm believer in climate change. I mean, the rainfalls have been a lot more important and a lot of water came down, and so it's something that needs to be addressed in some way, and it's not going to get better, it's only going to get worse.
Sunnyside residents say that the city should do more to protect them. They say the storm drains in the neighborhood are blocked with leaves and debris, causing street flooding, which gets into people's homes. So, Martine is taking things into her own hands. She spent thousands of dollars on a sump pump and flood insurance to keep her basement dry. And on her own, she clears the storm drains on her block once a week.
Good exercise.
But she wishes the Department of Environmental Protection would do its part to clear any debris that's already fallen into the drains, which she can't reach with her rake. Worse, every time it rains, she gets nervous.
I have what I call climate change anxiety, and I'm not the only one in my street. I know a few people have the same thing. As soon as the rainfall is a little bit more important, so to speak, my insides are, my antennas are up, and I go downstairs on a regular basis to check if anything is going on.
Elaine O'Brien is the co-founder of Queens Climate Project, a climate justice organization. She has also noticed that extreme weather is getting worse.
So there's been an acceleration and a new variety of climate disasters that affect people, like right now.
But just like Martine, Elaine believes that an individual can play an important role in preparing for climate change, even if the city isn't moving fast enough.
For anyone who wants to participate in climate actions, climate policy, you can learn a lot as you go. And so, I was not someone who had a lot of knowledge before I got started.
The Department for Environmental Protection did not respond to requests for comment. From the New York City News Service, I'm Elise Mouille.
Speaking of climate change and sustainability, e-bike ridership in New York City has increased dramatically from pre-pandemic levels. The rideshare company, Lyft, has plans to double the number of city bike stations next year. Some are celebrating this transition as a victory for sustainable transit, but others worry about how the growth of e-bikes will affect street safety. Here's Sasha with the story.
John Lenahan was running his regular route on the West Side Highway when he got hit from behind by an electric city bike rider.
I kind of got thrown, dislocated my shoulder.
Since his accident in September, he's had 2 visits to the ER, an emergency surgery, and will be in physical therapy for the next 6 months.
To me, I view it as a hit and run, and if it was a car, that would be a serious crime, right?
The growth of e-biking has transformed the city's transit landscape, but it's cases like John's that have some New Yorkers wondering if the increase in electric bikes should come with increased regulation too.
And what we're about is safety for all, people on bikes, pedestrians, cyclists, dogs.
Janet Schroeder is a co-founder of the E-Vehicle Safety Alliance, or EVSA. She and other members were standing at the gates of City Hall lobbying for a bill that would require all e-bikes to be licensed.
This was something that was affecting me every day. Every day. I would go out of my apartment and I would be almost run down. Going the wrong way, riding against traffic, going up on the sidewalk, not stopping at lights, speeding through intersections.
Ron Wisniewski lives in Hell's Kitchen at 43rd Street and 9th Avenue.
And 9th Avenue and 8th Avenue are just, well, there's no other word for it, but chaos and danger.
Ron and Janice believe that these safety issues would be fixed if e-bikes were licensed and the city ramped up enforcement.
people know how to ride. They're choosing not to ride in a proper fashion, and we're hoping that if there's a little bit of a consequence, whether it's a warning or a ticket because they have a license, that they will drive more safely for themselves and others.
But some New York City transit advocates are wary that addressing these concerns with punitive measures won't get at the core of the issue.
Targeting e-bikes as like the cause of the issue is wrong when the cause is street design.
Emily Jacoby is an organizer with Transportation Alternatives, a nonprofit advocacy group that pushes for green infrastructure and safer streets in New York City. Emily says that despite what people think, having more bikes on the street is actually proven to increase traffic safety.
We have a city with a lot of car congestion, right? Cars cause 99% of crashes. Cars cause the majority of death and serious injury on our roads.
Plus, she says that e-bike bills passed in other cities have proven expensive, ineffective, and often target delivery workers. Emily argues that by shifting away from an infrastructure system that prioritizes cars, we can make our streets safer and reduce carbon emissions citywide.
But we don't think slapping a license plate on an e-bike is going to transform our streets. We have to think bigger than that.
EVSA members, they disagree.
They're behaving like motorcycles that are not subject to the traffic laws. If people know that it's not going to be enforced, then they're not going to follow the rules.
From News Now, this is Sasha Cohen.
That was really interesting, Sasha.
Thanks, Ray. Now, let's take a look at some of your reporting. Congolese immigrants come to New York for all kinds of reasons. One thing that provides comfort so far from home, the city's plentiful access to authentic African products, particularly in Harlem. Here's Ray with the story.
A civil war has raged for 22 years in the Congo. A minimum of 8,000 Congolese have come to New York City in the past 3 years, and we wondered how they handle being 5,000 miles from their home country.
My relationship with food was a bit troubled, I'd say, because I couldn't find my cultural foods, but I was really lucky to be added into a group chat, and somebody pointed me to I think it's like Al-Kaji on 116, and I was able to find everything, and then it was all great.
A quarter of foreign-born New Yorkers living in Harlem are African-born. This reflects itself in markets around the neighborhood, having African goods and services from hair salons to grocery stores with a myriad of products available.
Started going to African shops, right? They were West African shop, but they will have like cassava leaves. They will have cassava, the root itself, all of these things that I grew up eating. And eventually I kind of just transformed my palate into being mainly Congolese, and that's what I still eat now.
One thing is for sure, the community fostered in New York City through food is vital to some African immigrants.
Congolese Friendsgiving was excellent. It was an opportunity for like young Congolese people in the city to get together. We had it catered, which was fantastic. Took the stress out of the day, and it was a lot of fun.
According to some Congolese, the civil war in DRC still impacts their daily lives now.
There's always that sense that nothing is truly ever 100% secure, so there's that part. There's the other part of I guess you are hyper aware about the political and social economic aspect of I guess the political atmosphere that's going on. You are a little more hyper aware than let's say someone else who has never experienced war.
From the New York City News Service, this is Ray DePaul. News Now reporter Ibrahim Hersey spent time in Manhattan with Miles Smutney to talk about what she does at the Free Store Project, a community-centered initiative aiming to solve economic inequality while addressing climate change.
My name is Miles, and I'm the founder and creative director of the Free Store Project. The Free Store Project was a mutual aid project that I started in the midst of the pandemic as a way to unite New Yorkers and restore both hope and neighborhoods. I feel like it was the perfect storm of need and also like my skill set. So I started this project and I started this effort in 2020. There was so much bad in the world. The news was getting worse and worse, and I wanted to do something. I felt like I had to step up, and I felt like I had to create some way to let people know that they were cared for at a time when people of color especially were neglected. Huge, that's a big thing. I feel like it's really hard to ask for help. What I feel like we've created in this system is there's no hierarchy. There's no one behind a counter. There's no one judging the items that you drop off. There's no one judging, period. Like, and we removed some words like help yourself, got rid of that, you know, and then just tried to create this like freestanding kiosk that has no gods, no masters, where people can come, take freely, give freely. And if there's no one overseeing it, then there's no sort of like power dynamic at play. It's just people helping people. And you'll still have people say like, well, I brought 3 things yesterday, so I'm just gonna take this. Like, I don't care. We are abundant. There are plenty of things, and there's no need to feel like you have to give in order to take. This is supposed to be completely outside of that structure, and I think I'm doing a good job of it.
Take whatever you want, lady. You're so cute. Look at you.
Up next, we give you a peek at the Bony Lady, the white girl, the mother. The spirit has many names, but she is officially known as Santa Muerte. A house in Jackson Heights is the base of a movement that honors death. Every month, followers gather at their leader's house to ask the spirit for all kinds of miracles. Leila Medina has the story.
Nombre sea de Dios Padre, de nuestra Santísima Muerte. Amén. Por esa fe.
It all started with a promise. If Holy Death healed Arely Vázquez from cancer, she would celebrate an annual party in her honor.
Aquí nos reunimos cada mes, todos los devotos y creyentes, para escuchar la oración que yo les brindo, que yo doy.
Her living room turns into a chapel for everyone who wants to pray. One by one, the devotees come in, bringing food to share after they worship. The flowers are placed, the candles lit up, and the prayer starts.
This is actually the fastest growing new religious movement on the planet. We don't have any hard numbers, but I guesstimate that there's some 12 to 13 million devotees.
Y yo la soñaba. Entonces ya fue que me fue llamando la atención. Y entonces así fue que fue creciendo, y después con tantos milagros que hace, me ha hecho que entonces yo por eso creo en ella.
Si eres güerito, si eres moreno, si eres chaparrito, si eres alto, como sea, todo mundo es bienvenido. Y pues aquí no se juzga.
Holy Death is known for being multifaceted, and the devotees can ask her for any favor.
Because you can ask her for anything. If you're Catholic, you shouldn't be asking Catholic saints for miracles and favors that are not of a Christian nature. So again, let's say you're a narco and you want your fentanyl to arrive. You're in New York City, right? You can ask her to bless your shipment.
No es como lo que la gente comenta, no es lo que todo mundo dice que solamente es algo de personas malas.
Most of them consider themselves Catholic, even if it's not accepted by the church.
No, it's every week the Catholic Church in Mexico condemns Santa Muerte as satanic.
This group has become a community, with some people coming from other states just to share this day. They share faith, but also the link of being migrants.
Ha sido fácil porque, primero, estamos en un país que no es de nosotros. Segundo, sabemos que todas las creencias no son las mismas, y para que la gente lo entienda, pues es todavía mucho más difícil.
After 17 years of doing this every month and the movement growing, Arely wants to open a chapel that is not in her living room, and that is a refuge for this growing community. When? She says, whenever the Bony Lady wants. For NYCITY News Service, this is Leila Medina.
Finally, we'll meet a college student who works at BOGO Karaoke Orchard to make some extra cash. It's a karaoke bar in Lower Manhattan. Benedetta Tomaselli has the story.
Okay, I'm Cesar Garzon. I am 22 years old. I am a server bartender in BOGO Karaoke Orchard in Manhattan. This place is different because first it's a karaoke and you can sing either in a private room or in the bar, which is pretty cool. It's not just a bar where you go to drink, you can make a party every day. I actually did more jobs to get this one, so I could have some experience. I was server and cashier in another place. I worked in a liquor store, and also I took a bartender course. I like having fun with and the customers and my co-workers. Like working in a restaurant, for example, or in a store, customers are pretty mad or rude sometimes, but here people come to have fun. So weekdays, when it's not so busy, I open maybe 1 or 2 days a week. I come here about 4, I open the place, I get all the reservations done from the iPad, I get all the rooms. Weekends I'm the server because of how busy it gets. My major in college is business administration, and I would like to mix like bartending with business. So I would like to have my own business. First, I want to have like a coffee shop. I think it's better to start with something simple, and then I would like to have my own bar. I just want a bar where people go drink and sing. Something small but fun. What surprised me the most was how nice people is. They want to be your friend, they want to invite you to church, they want to talk with you. All this, like it's pretty new because I'm used to customers being rude, and, like just coming to get their stuff and leave, but here people actually come to have fun and be nice. When I was new, it was weird for me, customers asking me to stay with them in the rooms, to sing with them, but it became something normal. It just happens now all the time. Some customers actually, they are like, hey, let me follow you on Instagram, hey, what's your WhatsApp? I have like a group of these Hispanic people, I have a group of stuff like that, and they invite me to these groups. Boho Karaoke Orchard, come. Ask for Caesar, right?
That's it for this edition of News Now. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Susan Farkas. I'm Ray DePaul.
And I'm Sasha Cohen. Good afternoon, stay curious, and we'll see you next week.